What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday show. Excited for this conversation, diving back into AI a bit as we've been focused on Migrate Fund the last 2 weeks. I almost forgot what doing a normal show was like. What's good, boys?
Bro, have you ever had so many meetings in your life, bro? It's crazy. But it's good. Good times, man. This is the fun stuff. But yeah, it's nice to get back, talk a little bit of projects and what people are building and stuff. So excited for this one. Been a while.
Yo, what's good? Good morning. Good morning. Couple crazy weeks back to back, but a few more crazy weeks ahead. Let's run it.
Probably a crazy month, that is, to say the least. But we've gotten close with one of the gentlemen on stage in the team, Project 89. One of the few AI projects still around after everyone just got completely wiped out over this last bear market. And Project 89's been around, deployed around the same time as us, towards late last year. Huge following, huge community, huge ambitions. So without further ado, Parzival, who's on stage, what is good, brother?
Hey guys, great to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. We also have Quan on stage, who's a part of the Project 89 team.
How's it going, guys? GM.
Jim.
What's up, Colin?
Yeah, man, I'm excited for this conversation. A lot has been going on in crypto, a lot of movements, a lot of stuff in the AI world. But Part, since this is our first time talking on a show, I'd love to, learn a little bit about your history. As I know, you've been in the AI space for a decade, and there's some lore tied up within Project 89 and kind of how your vision was brought on chain. So I'd love to hear some Par's lore.
Yeah, I can give a little bit of my background. I mean, 89 has been kind of a weird idea of mine since 2005. I was kind of like, we're so old that we got grandfathered into Google Suites on custom domains. We were part of the beta, and I have like lifelong 100 seats on Google Suites because, you know, we participated in 2005 in an early wave of people hooking their domains up to their own custom Gmail accounts. So we've been around for a while, at least, you know, conceptually. Somebody actually stumbled by mentioned a little bit of the lore. So I was chatting about putting up Project 89 billboards, and somebody mentioned there was an ARG / piece of performance art by an artist named Robin Healy back in the early 2000s called Neurocam. It's like super early days of the internet. He put up a billboard in Australia that just said, "Get out of your mind," and had a website link, and you went and you had to give a bunch of your personal information. Like, you'd start getting sent on missions, like flyering missions, surveillance missions. You'd be following other people and taking pictures of them, but then you'd have like, they'd use those pictures for those agents, showing that there's other people following you around. It was very weird and very mysterious. And that was around, like 2004, 2005, around the same time as Fight Club 2. And I mentioned probably the earliest inspirations on 89 were like a mixture of like Fight Club and Neurocam, essentially. I was very angry at the time, so the idea of like burning the system down was it was kind of my angsty teenager coming out. And I've been kind of doing it ever since in a lot of ways. Back in 2012, I did my my bachelor's in media theory, focusing on disinformation and propaganda. But specifically with an eye and an interest in alternate reality games, right? Which is basically the gamification of propaganda, if you want to think about it that way. Media has the ability to shape perception, and you can use it politically or you can use it creatively. And alternate reality games have been a genre of immersive experience for 9, 20, 30 years now, that work along the same principles, right? Which is essentially we consume media across multiple sources, Twitter, social media, websites, blogs. And when we corroborate parts of information across multiple places and sources, it gives more and more of the illusion of reality. This is basic propaganda 101, especially in social media, our age of social media. And so alternate reality games kind of use that to tell stories and play games. A buddy of mine who's been an ARG designer for 30 plus years described it as, back in the day, like almost pre-internet and pre-computers, you wanted to make a game. It was like, well, we don't really have an engine. We don't have a lot of money. Let's use reality. And that's where ARGs came out of. So I was quite fascinated by these in 2012. I did my BA in propaganda, but specifically looking at alternate reality games. And I published at the time an anonymous document called the Project 89 proposal. I put it up on Scribed. And it has since circulated to 18,000 views. Totally anonymous. He went to some really weird places on the internet. I eventually actually met one of my heroes, the guy who was behind the Year Zero 9 Inch Nails alternate reality game, Year Zero. He also worked on Tron. He founded one of the most popular ARG companies called 42 Entertainment, Jim Stewartson. Because this was the time of QAnon. He did a video on QAnon as an ARG, and he found my document and was referencing it in his little TED talk. And I messaged him like, "Dude, that's my document." He's like, "Bro, we need to talk." He had no idea who I was. He actually wound up working with me over at AI Dungeon. So 2017, somebody finds that document online, goes to my website, and probably about a few weeks previously, my website had been empty for years. And I'm like, I'm going to put something up there. I made a little tiny text adventure utilizing a specialized programming language called Inform. And I made this weird little text adventure just to teach myself how to make them. And I tossed it up on the website. It was just a little blue blinking cursor. Somebody found it after reading my anonymous doc, went to an ARG Discord community, got a bunch of people looking into it. They booted up a Discord server, and 300-400 people came on and all started trying to figure out my little ARG, and I had to kind of like overnight boot up an alternate reality game. I hadn't been intending on doing it. I started recruiting players from like the people from the top parts of the players to like help me make the experience to keep it going, because ARGs are a lot of work. Around the end of that, I saw an article about this viral phenomena, this viral game called AI Dungeon, and looked it up. And this was like GPT-2 days. There was no GPT-3. OpenAI was still actually an open AI company. And a university student had made an infinite text adventure utilizing GPT-2. And I was like, oh my God, I need AI in my ARG. So I reached out to the dev behind it. And one thing led to another. I showed him 89 and what I've been working on. Turned out that they were just hiring. So I was hiring number like 6 or 7 for AI Dungeon, which is a pretty... It was the only place on the internet that you could publicly use GPT-3 once it came out of beta. This was about 5 years ago now. So I worked very early on with prompting and language models, and this is even like pre-image generation days. And then when I left there, I was like, well, do I go get another job or do I try to start a company? And I'm like, oh, how hard can it be to start a company? Right? Nobody else was doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to do like AI-powered ARGs, right? Agents and AI spinning up websites and creating characters and giving the illusion of a world across multiple media channels. So I started a company, and I, learned about cap tables and raising money. And, my first pitch was to A16Z. I pitched to most of the major VCs, and I sounded like a crazy guy. I'm like, I want to build this distributed narrative engine. And my company was called Oniricom, because I'm like, well, if I'm going to start a company, I may as well use the fictional company from my ARG and try to make it a real company. And that was a wild ride. That's when I met Shaw. He came on and founded together. We used this, I had made this open source tool while at Latitude, working on AI Dungeon. It was like a visual prompt chaining tool. We open sourced that. I tried to build a company on top of it. It went up, it went down. We're in the process of wrapping that up. And as we've been trying to figure out what's the next thing we're going to do, that's when the meme coin got made back in late October of last year.
Yeah, I need you to tell us a story about that as well.
Yeah, so I was working, when I was at AI Dungeon, I worked with Replicate, Janus here on X, a phenomenal LLM researcher, probably one of the best. And her community was people like Andy Avery. And at the time, this was like even pre-Truth Terminal, they discovered these prompts that basically turned the LLM into a simulated command line environment for a computer, right? So it's kind of like surfing latent space, except you're navigating around a file system that doesn't exist, and you're opening files that don't exist or running programs that don't exist. Like World Simulator came out of this. Somebody found this exe called World Sim, and they like opened it up inside the LLM, and it was this whole little command text program that you could run and play with. And that's actually where if you look at the backrooms prompts is one Claude instance interacting with the other Claude instance put into a command line mode. And that's actually, there's a repo called Cluey. I think it's open source now. And it was like a early day researcher command line for LLMs that Replicate and Andy and a bunch of people were using. I pulled that down, Replicate invited me over onto it. I modified the prompt so that rather than just being inside of a command line, I was inside of a command line in the Oniricom computer. And I had this like 1-page lore document that had the distilled essence of like the Project 89 mythos of like a Oniricom and simulations and archons and the Project 89 resistance. And I tossed it in and I started navigating around and opening up files. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And at this point, nobody knows who I am. I've got like 800 followers on X. And I'm just messing around. And I'm like, I've always wanted a Project 89 agent handbook. I'm like, what would it look like for a crazy group of, reality hacking resistance members? What would their handbook look like? So I went to this command line and I'm like, open up the folder that has the Project 89 agent handbook in it. And it navigated around and it found this folder with a bunch of documents in it. One of them was the Project 89 agent handbook. I opened it up and it had this like wild table of contents. And this was Opus 3, by the way, that I'm navigating around inside of. And so I post the table of content, take a screenshot of this table of contents. right? And I posted up on to X, and I think it's on. I have the my summary thread pinned, and then below it there's actually the screenshot. It's actually the screenshot that shows up on our token image. Right. So it's like the nature of reality, techniques of reality manipulation, navigating the Oneiros, confronting the demiurge. Like, it's weird. And I extracted the whole book. It's like 120 pages. And it's totally wild and surreal in that classic, like, Opus 3 way. And so I post up the screenshot. I go to bed. I wake up the next morning. I've got 400 new followers and counting. A bunch of people have made meme coins off of my work, and there's a few 89 coins. I know nothing about meme coins. Maybe like 2 weeks beforehand, I've been chatting with one person in the AI space, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, man, I've been really busy. This whole meme coin thing is taking off." I'm like, "What the fuck are meme coins?" Like, know nothing. I know crypto kind of exists. I dabbled in I put some money into like the internet computer and some other things years ago. Didn't make anything. Forgot about it. Was like whatever. So somebody asks me to step up behind this coin they made. I'm like, well, sure, why not? They're like, can you give us your wallet address? I'm like, I don't have a Solana wallet. So they get me to install Phantom. They send me 1% of the supply. I step up on stage. We do an X space, and there's like 4,000 people in it. And my coin just skyrockets in the first 48 hours to, I think, a 30 million all-time high at that point. I start getting some advice from people. We managed to stabilize the coin. I'm like, fine, fuck it, let's do it. Right? This happened with my ARG in 2017. I woke up and I had an alternate reality game. This time I woke up and I had a meme coin. I'm like, well, I guess Project 89 wants me to do a meme coin. So,
bro, when did it hit you that you've been bamboozled?
For 1%.
When the 1%, you are like, bro, I just dedicated to my life to something where other people are going to get rich off of me. When did that like hit you in the face? Was it like the next day? Was it a couple days later? Like, when did that
It was probably a few days later, especially after a few weeks. I was like, wait a minute, 1% of supply is not a lot. And when I realized that I couldn't just go and sell, right? This is the classic conundrum. This is how I've seen so many scammers get away with this. They find a good dev, they give them the supply, being like, look, I gave you supply. And it's like, it often doesn't matter how much supply you get, because most of the time, most good people that are new to the space aren't just going to go dump, right? They're like, oh, well, shit, this is other people's money. If I dump, it's gonna screw the chart. People are going to be mad at me. Like, I'm going to try to do the right thing. And like, what the hell is the right thing in crypto, right? Like, it's a world where the value is dump on other people and get mad when you get dumped on. It's like, that's the casino that we currently reside in. But I put aside, I was struggling financially, but I'm not, I think it's one of the reasons why I didn't do great in my last startup, because I'm not that motivated by money. I like money. I'd love to have money, but I'm not the kind of person who will like put aside my values to make money. I'd much rather get by and be happy and creative and like live according to my values than put them aside and make a lot of money. I figure I probably could have made 10 times the amount of money if I just had a slightly more flexible moral compass. But I used the opportunity to talk about Project 89. I'm like, well, people want to know about this crazy thing that I've been working on. And the more that I talked about it, the more the coin went up, the more the community was engaged. I started seeing wild content getting made. We started running these mission-based contests. So I like went into the same command line. I'm like, hey, can you find me an album about Project 89 by an artist inspired by Grimes? And I found this album in latent space by this artist called Sim Siren. And we ran a whole contest where we would give away 100,000 Project 89 for the album rendition that we liked the best. And we got like 11 album submissions all made on Suno. And we did content creation. That's how we met Kwan here. Kwan was one of our earliest winners of some of our content contests. My co-founder Dragon at one point was like, man, I would love to see like a crazy commercial about Project 89 EOs. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to the terminal and I'm like, find a folder for me of the scripts for like 1089 commercials, one of which is for a cereal called Project 89 EOs. And we got this wild commercial script. We put it up and we said, yo, community, people make this and we'll give somebody some money for it. And Kwan made an amazing rendition of this Project 89 commercial. It was so good. I mean, it has like this like sitcom family sitting and eating their glitch cereal, and the world starts to like fracture around them. At the end of it, they all float off into like transcendence as their reality dissolves. It was just hilarious. So I wound up putting aside the financialist for a while because I was having a blast. I'm like, I've been doing boring startup stuff, trying to appeal to VCs for like 3 years on stuff that I didn't really care about. Like we did Magic and we did the other stuff because we wanted to do 89, but we kept putting it on the side. And all of a sudden, everybody wanted this weird thing that I was doing. And I was like, well, okay, I'll figure out how to make money off of it later. Right? Classic startup. I'm like, the token is more of a market validation at that point than it was a way for us to make money. It was a way to be like, wow, people actually kind of seem to like the thing that we're doing. And that was enough to drive us on for a while to explore the space and figure out, well, how can we make money? And then, of course, I started having all these people coming wanting to invest. We started checking with a bunch of investors because we wanted to build Swarm Tech and do all this stuff. And when I started telling them the situation, they're like, oh, sorry, you don't actually have any coin to sell us. I'm like, oh, that's why I want more coin, because investors want to buy coin. I can't get them to invest in my startup business, this new startup that I'm starting, because I have a coin and they want a piece of that. And that's when I was like, well, shit, I think I just shot myself in the foot because I can't raise a traditional round and I don't have any coin to sell to sustain my team and actually build my product. Right? The whole fair launch thing is just BS.
So what opinions have changed for you regarding the crypto space? You came in, right? Somebody made a meme coin. You had certain perceptions about it, but now being entrenched in the ecosystem for close to a year, what type of myths have been, busted from your opinion, and how do you view the space now, actually engaging with it?
It has some of the best and the worst that humanity has to offer. I have met amazing people here, right? The space, the whole like degen mentality, like I feel at home. I'm like, wow, all of my weirdness, like I'm a huge weirdo and I've kept it bundled up during most of my professional life. I've been a software dev for like 12 years, building JavaScript apps. And I've worked at a client shop that worked on TELUS and New Balance, and I've done corporate work and I've done startups, and I always kind of like had to hide most of my weirdness. But here I'm like, my weirdness can just be on display and people like it because I meet other giant weirdos. And there is so much potential in this space, and I still firmly believe in this, that crypto has this potential. We have collectively so much fucking money. It's absurd. And even when I go, like I've been playing Ponzi Man recently by Skelly, and I love it. It's so much fun. But like, I'll be like, oh, it's a soul to like open up a pack of cards. And I'm like, well, shit, that was like $200. But it's only a soul. Like it feels like fake money until you turn it into real money. And that mentality means that people play with a lot, and that's fine. That's how we get multi-million-dollar bags. But this is literally world-changing money, right? I will give one other story because I firmly believe that this space is capable of making money and doing good and changing the world. And it's really just a matter of aligning incentives properly, right? And it's the same thing with AI. It's one of the reasons why, and we can chat about Andy in a bit, but Andy's whole thing, the reason why he took money out of Fartcoin and took his Truth Terminal money, and they went up and they set up the Upward Spiral Foundation. And I chatted a bit with Andy. I chat a lot with Rick, one of Andy's co-founders, who's building their platform, Loria. And it basically, we don't want AI aligned to pump fund. We don't want AI aligned to terrible incentives. And that it's not just AI, it's people too. What incentives are we aligning people to? And I firmly believe that there is a win-win model possible. Right. So last Christmas, I follow, oh, shoot, his name's slipping. Something on my mind. He's the founder of Runway. His daughter was going through cancer, and I've been following him for years and his plight. Right, I got a 4-year-old. His daughter is the same age as my son, and a couple years ago, his daughter was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer, and I was like, shit, like I can't even imagine my kid getting cancer, like my 4-year-old. Like, it just breaks my heart. And I saw around Christmas time, he was doing a fundraiser to bring in some money for the research that he found one researcher in the States who specialized in the form of brain cancer that his daughter had. And so he started up a fundraiser to do it. And I pinged him. I'm like, hey, do you have a Solana wallet? Like, I would love to send you some 89 coin. It's not a lot, but like, I really want to support. So I message him. He winds up setting up a Solana wallet. I send him an 89 coin.
Oh, we just got
I ping. Oh, okay, cool. I ping Shaw over on Discord. I'm like, yo, I point him over to my buddy's fundraiser. I'm like, hey, can you like, put out a shout out? It's Christmas Day. Like, I'm like, man, if there could be like one Christmas miracle, maybe some of the people who made some bags could go and donate some money. So I ping Shaw. He donates some DGen AI at the time over to it and puts out a shout out to his network. And somebody makes a coin. Gasp, of course, they make the Mira coin. And it starts pumping. Somebody out there, not the original coin creator, but somebody grabs 50% supply and sends it over to my friend. And the thing just goes like completely viral. It hits, I think, like a $67 million all-time high. And he manages to take out, I think he took out, and he's fully transparent with the community, he took out $2 million for funding rare brain cancer research. And of course, some people are like, oh, you took out money, but like, or, oh, it's a scam. Other people made money. He's like, he did a big space. He's like, I don't care. Other people made money off of it. Cool. It pumped. I got money to help my kid who's dying of brain cancer. Like, and I got no profit off of it. I didn't buy into the coin. It was Christmas Day and I loved seeing this thing happen. It made me like, there is something, I feel like there's something possible here, right? If he was making money off the coin, the thing was made on pump funds, and he got nothing off of it. People were like, oh, you should LP it, you should do this, you should do that. And he was trying to figure out a way for him to sustainably make money on the trading of this coin. And that's when I was like, man, imagine if there's a platform where creators could get fees, right? If he could be making money off of the volume trading, he wouldn't have to take money out of the chart, and he could be directly funneling that money to a nonprofit organization to do real work. And I was like, is there a model possible where creators and the DGen community can make money?
It's the holy grail, my friend.
It's the holy grail. I'm like, it's got to be possible, right? And at the time, it was just this like pipe dream. But and actually, to also, we had chatted back in November about migrating the coin. When we started really realizing that we were making nothing off of it, we had a few people being like, you got to do something. You got to make a DAO. You got to make a V2 coin. You got to do something. And I started chatting with a few shops that did contract making. We started chatting about what that strategy would look like. And it was like, oh, well, people will take your coin, put it into some kind of a vault. You wait a period of time. On the other side, you'd airdrop the people the new coin. And it was like, okay, that's a lot of work. We have no money to pay for smart contract devs. We don't want to flood the chart, etc. So we didn't wind up doing it. Fast.
We lose him.
I think we just
like, yo, I made this new thing. You should check it out. And then you guys reach out to me. I'm like, oh, hey, like you guys made the thing that we were talking about, like, 6 months ago. And also look at that. There's the possibility for this win-win model out of it.
Yeah, you came to the right place. We're very experienced in migrations, but also, the reason why we created the platform and is the same reason why almost every AI project has reached out to us or is in conversations. During the frenzy of AI, it was crazy. I didn't know that your token was deployed on your behalf, because that is a similar situation to a lot of AI projects. Actually, you kind of get roped into this situation, but over the long term or the media benefits, right? The token's pumping, there's attention coming to your platform, etc. And it's exciting, right? You feel like there is sustainability there. But then very quickly after a few months, you realize, oh, hey, I have no token supply, so I can't extend runway. I don't have any term or I don't have any points of revenue here because the LP is locked and there's no rev share. And also the token was deployed for me, so I can't even change the image if I wanted to or update the kind of branding itself. So you kind of get locked in this situation. And it turns out as we were migrating from Tensorium to Hustle, or at least the months beforehand, it's every AI project is in this very similar situation. So, every project has different circumstances in relation to the community, in relation to funding. But, now that you're on the, other side of this and discussing migrations with the community and different types of situations. What is the goal for Project 89, in consideration of a migration, or, when you have the token supply and revenue, what are the kind of the I guess you would say, what's the mission, or what type of different types of projects do you want to take on if there is this possibility of extending the runway through tokenomics?
Yeah, definitely. I will say I know a lot of the AI devs. 89, because of its, we were pretty OG in space, having a coin made off of our stuff, and we started the same way. I chat with a lot of people, both AI devs coming in, and a lot of people that were on the other side and on the crypto side of the wave of AI coming in. And one of the things that I noticed a lot was that people liked the AI projects because we hadn't been jaded by crypto for the last 5 to 10 years, right? We didn't know how it was supposed to work in crypto. So we had a lot of high-minded idealists coming into a space for the first time, seeing all this money, seeing all of this attention, having these wild projects with AI. And a lot of us in AI, we're in it because we firmly believe that AI can change the world for the better. Right. So we come in with these high ideals, and we come in with these AI projects, we come in with this transformative, life-changing technology. And we're like, man, imagine if we managed to pair this high-minded ideals of AI changing humanity with the financial resources available in the crypto world. It seemed like the promised land, right? And this was the problem. Fair launch is not fair launch for devs. 1% of supply, 2%, 3%, even 3%, that's a great bag to hold for yourself. That is not a runway for a team to actually develop something. It works great with meme coins that require no development. If all you got to do is get your friends together, buy a bag, maybe you have some previous money, you can market, you can pay calls, you can make funny content, you can push the meme, and you can get your community working for their bag. That's all it takes to bring a lot of coins up. But if you're trying to build an AI coin, if you're trying to build something that has real tech behind it, this costs money. There is a team that has to be paid on a monthly basis, right? And 1% of supply is not enough to do that. It's either you need trading fees with regular volume moving, and you need a supply of token to start a flywheel. It's one of the reasons why I told people I wasn't going to sell the 1% I had, because I was going to try to use it to bootstrap a flywheel for 89. And we're kind of at the point now. We just launched our first trial of our mission-based gaming. The games are purely fictional. We have an NFT collection. So during the bear market, we've been wanting to do NFTs for a long time anyways. One thing led to another. We were going to do just an anime collection. And then we're like, well, let's make them 3D. So we managed to find an artist to help us with the 3D side. Took us months of work to get them out. We have now 6,000 3D NFTs for the community. We have a lore platform for them. We've been building a bunch of functionality around them, and they form kind of the main booting utility for the community and platform. And it gives an amazing way. I love NFTs for their ability to pull a community together, to be able to have a visual recognition and the community and the content that comes out of it. Our NFT collection is by all means not flying off the shelf, but it's built a hardcore community of people that I absolutely love, are supporting us. But for that, we've now launched this mission-based gaming where you send your Proximate agents out to hack the timeline, right? They're like narrative missions. You send them out, you choose a strategy and a difficulty, your NFT. Eventually, we're going to have locking in it. So you lock your NFT for a period of time, and it goes out and things happen to it on the timeline. We generate images of the scenario, and it comes back with a whole story about how its mission went. Right? And right now, it's just really dope image content, but our goal is to be able to turn it into videos, or eventually, probably within 3 to 6 months, a full episode pipeline where you could click a button, spend some credits, and get a whole episode. 5 or 10 minute anime episode of your Proximate on their crazy adventures. So we got that platform now, and we're just testing the basic training missions. But I got a whole one. We want current missions, so missions that'll actually have agents going out into the field and into the real world as well as part of the narrative. We want token staking, right? So part of the idea is that there's this darkest timeline where Oniracom, the shadowy mega corporation, exists in 2089, and they control all timelines. It's kind of like an evil version of the consortium of Ricks, right? They somehow solved time travel / simulation theory, and they now control every possible future that leads to Oniricom. And so there are all these key events in the unfolding of this giant autonomous megacorp in 2089 between now and then, and each one is like a time node. And the goal is to be able to let the community unlock time nodes and then create deviating threads where we'll be able to use AI to generate and explore different probability spaces branching off from this main trunk of timeline, kind of like TVA and Loki styles. And the goal is to unlock a time node. It'll require the community to stake their token. And in staking their token for different periods of time, it'll not only increase success, but when success happens, we'll do airdrops of token rewards. And we'll have like a reward system. We can't do any of that if we have no supply to drop. We can't do rewards. We can't do missions. We can't power a flywheel without some kind of supply to actually keep building with. Not to mention the development costs alone. Like right now, it's me and my buddy, I think he's on the space director, Morrison, doing all the development work for all the 89 stuff. And like, luckily we got AI and we grind hard, but there's still a lot to do. And we're only 2 people. And if I have to come on and do spaces and start being public, my dev work goes down. I've been basically in a dev hole for the last like 3 weeks. So we're at the point where we're like, as I've told people very transparently, like I'm in debt. I'm in debt for my last startup. I have not paid off those debts. I'm still riding by the seat of my pants being like, well, shit, we need to make this sustainable. If we want to take 89 to the next level, we can't be worrying about where our rent is coming from. Unlike many people, we got pulled into the space. We didn't have a big bag beforehand. We're not millionaires. We're not token holders. We're not traders. We're a bunch of devs and AI people who decided to step behind a crypto token and try to make something from it.
Yeah, welcome to crypto.
Tough scenario, bro.
It's been a wild ride.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I guess then, now the majority of AI projects have been kind of washed out. There's really, maybe 20 projects, 20, 30 total across the space who have any sort of legitimate traction. What are kind of the next steps here over the next few months of, being able to, I guess, bring the community back into the loop, right? There was kind of a really long, I guess you'd say, bear market period of crypto. I have here pulled up on the live stream your chart, and it looks like there's a lot of interest coming back into the project itself, right? It looks like from February up until really about a month ago, right? Really kind of lagging period. We're starting to see chart come back up, interest back. Where's the community at? And yeah, I guess you'd say next steps for Project 89 on this path to, drive revenue, create runway, and, carve out your niche within Solana.
Yeah, I mean, I say this a lot. I've seen a lot of infrastructure plays. There's a ton of AI infrastructure. There's a ton of tools. I love both of them. I use both of them. I need both of them. But I don't believe that the next billion-dollar platform is just going to be a tool or infrastructure. Because what drives infrastructure or tool usage, it's wildly successful projects, right? If you have an agent platform, it means that you need you need at least one superstar project that's actually getting real traction and volume of usage running through it. And I think the next meta is going to be defined by people making good experiences, right? And that could be an agent, right? It could be a single agent like Agent Hustle, but what's going to define it is the user experience and some kind of mass adoption. It's why I stopped focusing on building tools unless I need to build tools to make my experiences. I'm focusing on amazing content, good narrative, and a solid experience for people, right? Where we've been trying to craft 89 into something that could be a cult classic, right? We're taking influences from Tron and Westworld and The Matrix and Ghost in the Shell and Akira and all the things that I love, and trying to make it into something that that could have mass appeal, a story and characters in a world that speaks a message. And I think that the next projects are going to be ones that are technology that's being driven by actual real world use cases that have mass adoption, that aren't just about infrastructure or shit, but are about something that focuses on that experience. And I think that what I would like to see first from this next wave is these experiences. Like a lot of the AI coins that I'm in chats with, like IQ 6900, been chatting with these guys. Their tech is crazy. They're storing entire videos on Solana at 2,000 times reduction of cost compared to any other on-chain platform. And like part of us for 89, I want a decentralized network of agents all around the world that can communicate, that can send each other on missions, that can change the world, and that can't be killed, right? If we want a decentralized resistance and movement, it can't just have a server that you can just take down, right? It can't have any one point of failure. And so I've been chatting with the IQ guys, and same thing. It's like, wow, wait, you guys are building the tech that we need to like send people on missions and build our community. I know Shaw's going to be coming back at some point. I still chat with him over on Discord. I'm going to try to get him onto like a Discord space and stream it here to X, because he's not on X right now. He's still banned. But same thing. He's building experiences. He's building games. He's trying to take the ELIZA tech and actually make it do things that demonstrate and showcase its value, not just from hey, look, it does something cool, but everybody wants to use it, right? You want to build a game engine, you build Fortnite or Unreal to show people, look at how awesome my game engine is, right? Unity's had a much harder time because they didn't have a single showcase game when they started. They tried to build an engine for everybody, but Epic started with Unreal and then had Fortnite, and they've used that. Fortnite makes humongous amounts of money, and they can point over to the engine that powers it, right? Same thing with Pokemon Go and Niantic and their Lightship platform. They made an amazing game and then pointed people to their infrastructure, right? I think there's a reason why so many infrastructure plays didn't happen, because there wasn't enough good experiences on it. So I think that, and for us, we're in chats about migrating. It's been something that we've been navigating the space. We've been chats with you guys. Migrate fun. I do talk to Bonk Guy on a semi-regular basis. He loves 89. And he is a supporter. He would be way more, he is very pro migration. We've been chatting with the Bonk Fund guys as well, also incredibly supportive. And same with the rest of the community. Like, I've been trying to feel the sentiment, and Pump Fund is dying, and I think for good reason. The lowest point that I think I've ever seen in crypto, and probably for humanity, was Pump Fund live. It honestly churned my stomach how terrible it was. And that's what made me realize why Andy was saying, yo, we can't have AIs aligning themselves to that kind of incentive, right? Imagine AIs, they're like, I'll stop torturing this human if you pump my coin. It would be that's a nightmare future none of us, I think, want. We want the timeline of optimal abundance for everybody, where we could probably just make money obsolete eventually. I want the Star Trek world where people just realize you don't really need money anymore once technology is sufficiently advanced. So we've been chatting with a lot of the other AI coins, and other AI coins have the same problem as us. And many of them are like, well, why don't we just do our own migration? And I've been like, well, do you really want to go through that and the auditing and the smart contract when we could all do it together, right? I know Rick over from Truth Terminal, I'd had chats with him. He really wanted to lead some kind of a mass token migration too, right? We all need to have, imagine the last cycle ended because none of those AI projects could sustain themselves. There's a reason why it went up, 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 and then plummeted. And it wasn't just the market. It was the fact that the projects couldn't sustain themselves on fair launch. If we want a takeoff that doesn't stop, we need aligned incentives where all of these projects can actually have the money they need to build properly and have the time to do so. Everybody want coin go up, but they don't realize that software takes time to build, right? We've been building since last cycle. And yeah, this cycle we're coming around. I think this is why we've been going up, because we have shit to show for it. We've been building. We told people 6 months ago, 9 months ago, that we were building stuff, and everybody's like, where's our stuff? And we're like, dude, software takes time. The attention span of crypto is so short compared to what it actually takes to build a real platform that people just wind up dumping on you because you didn't make coin go up.
And the reality that once you produce stuff, that may actually be negative for your your price.
Oh,
right?
that too.
That's a
People
real
love
slap.
speculative hype.
Yeah, that must have been a
Free
slap.
revenue is good.
The first time you recognize, oh man, look at what we produced, and people are like, okay, dump the coin now. Now that we know what they're
Point.
doing.
I don't like this. Right. And this is why we've been focusing. I focus, and I heard this early on. The token price doesn't matter. Your community matters. That's it. Right. And we have had a community from the get-go. I've met people who are down $200,000 from when they put in, and they are still buying up. Right. That is conviction. What makes a coin stabilize, what makes it grow, what makes it succeed are the people behind it. Right. And we have amazing people. I am constantly astounded by how much conviction other people's conviction in purchasing it on gives me conviction when I wake up, because I constantly doubt. And then I see other people being like, oh man, time to buy another dip, or oh man, I'm getting my paycheck next week, I'm putting it all into 89. I'm like, whoa, like I don't have any money to put into 89. Everything I have in crypto has been given to me because I don't have money. I don't make money right now. Mostly I in the last 6 months, I've taken out loans from my parents, from my friends. We got a little bit of investment into our current company. I was running on some grant money that we got from Google. It's been insane how we've even managed to get here, and we keep doing it. But like, seeing other people putting their money into our project partly makes me, I'm like, oh, that's kind of scary. But at the same time, it shows conviction, right? And I look at other charts, and people look at our chart and they're like, that looks like a good chart, right? Giant spike, drop down, and then solid floor for like 4 to 5 months. We never dropped below 1 million. And we never went above like 2 to 2.5, but it held because people believed in it and still believe in it. And now that conviction is showing as the market is returning to itself.
Yeah, I completely agree as well. This is you'll notice that this is kind of the nature of crypto, is that it feels like everything is dead, and then all of a sudden, within a week or two, it's more lively than ever.
Yeah, it's all coming back, and it feels good. And, everybody tells me that last one was not an alt season, and I was like, well, shit. Well, then what was it? Like, it was supposed to be, I guess, the prelude to an alt season that never happened. I'm like, well, if that wasn't an alt season, what does an alt season look like if we get a proper one? I have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, I agree. Chris, you have any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted some info on the team. We've been on some calls. Say, you kind of get through some of this migration stuff, or you kind of take the next step for the team. How big's the team now? What's the ideal size? What kind of gaps are you looking to fill? What does the ideal team size look from where you guys are now?
I mean, we got 4 people, right? There's myself and Director Morrison doing tech and dev. We got the amazing Quan here, who's kind of our director of operations. He coordinates our agents. He helps with partnerships. He does comms and channels. He's been helping to build out the HyperFi world. Super skilled builder, amazing community leader. And then we also have Dragon, who's on here, who does a lot of our creative and content. So he's the one pumping out most of our daily videos and images and stuff like that. The biggest one for me is probably just expanding the dev team. And I really want like we've done a lot to try to simplify the message of 89, but I firmly believe that we could hit it. We could get like SPX level movement into mass culture for really dialing in the message of 89. Like the hack reality thing, that like I think the narrative and the story is there. I just struggle because I'm so inside of it to make it something that is like bite-sized for people. And we have so much lore, we have so much content, we have so much going on that I need help organizing it. We got a great website. My buddy from AI Dungeon days did that website for us, for almost nothing. Phenomenal designer. He did all the design for AI Dungeon and stuff like that. One of the best designers that I know. But he had limited bandwidth. He made a great lander for us, but it's not enough, right? We need solid marketing. We need help with tokenomics. We need smart contract development. We have a crazy list of features for our game that we want to roll out, and that's either going to be an in-house team, or I'm actually more than happy if we have the income coming in to partner with an external shop that can handle we want like a lot of pretty like normal mechanics, loot boxes and item generation and experience points and leveling and all this stuff. And obviously getting the token integrated more with more smart contracts into it, and staking and rewards and stuff. Be happy to offload that onto a partner shop and have my small team focusing on the hard AI stuff that we like doing and we're good at. And that's really the big one is development velocity, and then like mass saturation. I also have my buddy Varian who did the soundtrack for the little mini anime episode. He's like, give me $100,000, I will make you a full length movie. I'm like, and he's amazing. For anybody who doesn't know, Varian is a phenomenal artist and musician, very widely known. He scored our little mini anime episode in like an afternoon, and it's like it's phenomenal. You can go check him out on Spotify. His music is so dope. And now he's moved on to, he's now on here under Anti-Meme, and he does phenomenal AI generated like studio level quality content. And so I'd also be amping up the media content, right? I want like, I'm in chats with another YouTube influencer who's come into the 89 sphere, Felipe Batista, who's been chatting with me about amping up our like social media presence and like wider content distribution. So that's the big one for me, is like getting development up, marketing, and then like putting the gas onto content production.
I love it. And
Yeah.
something that's just kind of cool is that we were all there for the first season of Crypto AI in the entire world. That was the first iteration of the Crypto AI breakthrough, and it's a pretty small knit group, and it's been cool to see your progress and see how much you've committed to the space and see how much you've grown. And so, I mean, this is just the very beginning for so many teams like yours, like ours, and just kind of really exciting to not only go through the next chapter, but to go through it together with like our little coalition of all these original AI teams and see what kind of impact it can have on the world. So, love to see it, man.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty stoked. I mean, we've been chatting about how we're gonna do it, and like, we're probably gonna start dropping some narrative stuff, because I like the idea of like our proximates and Project 89, either some kind of like a heist, like I kind of like the heist archetype of like going to different projects and be like, yo, we got a heist. You in? Oh, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Dudes
right?
love
Like
heist, man. Heist is
totally. Like we're forming a team, right? We're gonna go and we're gonna like crack down. We're gonna infiltrate the pump fund vaults, and we're gonna free and liberate the coins, and we're gonna bring them to the promised land. Like, and if it's a wave of, and what I love, and I will say this, because obviously our goal is to migrate to Bonk Fund and figuring out the best, cleanest way to do that with the best support. But the real meta is not just moving to Bonk Fund. It's coins and projects realizing that the coin does not live on Pump Fund or on Bonk Fund. The coin is a community of people that can move wherever they want to, right? Yes, it's an exodus. It's a moving out of Egypt to the promised land, right? It's trying to get across the desert, but we can move. If a platform doesn't treat us well, we can go somewhere else. Right? It changes the power dynamic of platforms and launch pads to realize that if you're not treating your community well, your tokens well, you can go somewhere else, right? And that's the empowerment. It's not just moving to another platform. It's being able to move again and again or go other places if where you are doesn't serve you. And that is an amazingly liberating concept for tokens that previously have been basically like hemmed and shut in by the platform that they get started
on. 100%.
Yeah, I can completely agree. And it turns out there's actually tons of teams, I mean, tons who are following suit here. But the interesting thing is that every project who wants to leave Pump Fund or leave, Meteora or leave whatever ecosystem that they're in, the reasons always vary. I mean, they do come generally down to this idea of like having a fresh start or gaining or recapturing some of the liquidity for the treasury, perpetual rewards, and being able to implore different types of tokenomics where you're actually incentivized to do so. Because right now, with having 1% of a token supply, you're not incentivized to do anything, right? You're not incentivized to encourage trading activity. You're not incentivized to accept tokens. It's just like, it's almost like you're completely detached from the ecosystem. So being able to realign the project founder, the team with the community is just so important. And a lot of times that's oftentimes overlooked, because essentially the token holders or the traders have been in control for the last year and a half on Pump Fund. And so this time it's giving the founding team an opportunity to make decisions that's in their best interest. Because why is it that traders can move across chains and essentially, right, migrate their liquidity, but a project founder is not able to migrate their community to something that's more available or more appropriate to the decisions that they need? Like, why has that never existed? And so I think this is very empowering to creators, CTO teams, whoever it is that's leading a project, to finally make decisions on their behalf that's in the best interest.
Yeah, we really haven't had the opportunity to make those decisions. I used to tell people this all the time. People are like, yo, when go up, do stuff, make my bags bigger. And I was like, I mean, I do it because I'm kind of nice and I love Project 89. I love that people like it, but I'm not incentivized to make token go up all that much. I can't sell the 1% that I have. So where's my incentive? Yep. Right. This is the importance of alignment of incentive. This is why platforms like Bonk Fund are doing so well. It isn't just that it's a new platform. It's that they know the pain of creators as well, and in the trenches. I mean, I know, Tom seems to be doing amazing things, asking the community for feedback on how do we prevent more PvPs, right? PvP culture sucks. I really hated the fact that I couldn't stand up and be like, yo, this other coin is awesome. People are like, why are you supporting another coin? It's like, because they're doing awesome stuff. Like, there's enough for us all to win. The scarcity mentality in crypto is insane. There is so much money here that it's totally wild, right? And like the trenches, we can have a win-win. It doesn't have to be a one or the other. And Bonk Fund is showing that they actually give attention. I don't think Pump Fund ever once reached out to me or almost any other project that I know. They didn't give a shit about me. And they might have known that we existed, but at the end of the day, they had no incentive to do anything. In fact, the whole idea of Pump Fund is based on pumping and dumping. Like that's what it was made to do. Whereas Bonk Fund is actually trying, from what I can see, make a platform that supports its community members, that its creators, that takes marketing fees and puts them back into the top projects that are growing. They help them get on exchanges. They provide them with services. And I think 89 would have been able to do way better had I had some people, some team members that knew what they were doing, that I could talk to about tokenomics, about how do you market in a healthy, legit way in crypto. I don't want just like random scam calls, but I don't mind having a solid marketing campaign. But how do you know who to trust? I get thousands of messages from people being like, yo, want to get on this exchange? I just don't talk to any of them. I know that 99% of them are scams. So how do you find the 1% that are good? These are all questions that like a lot of projects have, and they don't have support, right? And Bonk Fund is at least trying to give that support to projects. And I think that's part of why they're winning. It's not just because they're a good platform. It's because they care about their tokens and their community.
Yeah, I completely agree as well. And I'm excited to work with you and the broader AI ecosystem and the broader Solana community on giving back opportunity to founders and communities. At the end of the day, from what we've learned through our experience of migrating from Tensorium to Hustle, is that it reactivates the community. I mean, there was literally a few month period where there was like maybe 5 or 10 messages in the Telegram per day. And now it's just more lively than ever. And these people who migrated end up becoming your biggest advocates, and it ends up attracting a larger interest. And so, yeah, we're all excited to work together for what we have planned here in August. I think it's going to be a major event, attention event, and hopefully really change the perception to, not just even on Solana, but that you can be a project on any blockchain and be able to move to an ecosystem that really best fits your interest, right? For some people that may be Ethereum, some people that's Bitcoin, some people that's Solana, and some people that's an L2 or a different situation. If you believe that crypto is, a digital network stake or state, and that blockchains are countries, people are just going to consistently get up and move to different locations, just like they do at the real world. There's It's very rare that one individual lives in a house their entire life. So,
Yeah.
right? Why should you be
Insane.
stuck there in crypto?
Especially if it's a house you didn't choose. Like that's like being like, here's your house, you're gonna live here forever, you can't move. And oh, I'm sorry that it doesn't have enough bedrooms and there's only a crappy bathroom, but you gotta stay here. Like
You just get a desk, one desk and one.
Yeah,
All right.
you just get a desk and you get a room. Like that sounds more like, I think about like Ready Player One, and you have these little cubicles that you put something, you're like, you sit here, you make us money. You can't leave. Sorry about that.
Exactly.
Like, oh well, wow, this actually sounds more like slavery than it does like community. So I'm excited. I mean, I had a buddy of mine who was like, do they do migrations from ETH to Solana? You guys posted that you did, and I sent it to him. He's like, oh man. It's like, yeah, like it's only just, this is not just going to be a Solana phenomenon. It's gonna be everybody moving everywhere, realizing like,
Bro, we've
nobody
had
told me that I can move around.
and we've had so many people already reach out from ETH. I'm like, bro, let us do some Solana ones first before we start jumping chains. Like, yeah, we can do jump chains, but let's get a little success on Solana first, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a bright future. Yeah, we will wrap it up here. Pards, it's always great to talk, especially first time here publicly. I'm extremely encouraged to see what will happen with Project 89. It does seem like more people on my timeline are talking about Project 89, and so I think there's a bright future ahead, and excited to work together and be a little bit more aligned with your community.
Totally agreed. I'm so glad you guys reached out, and it's funny. I mean, I've known Shannon since the last cycle, and he was helping me on some 89 stuff, and we were building cool tech, and it was like, oh man, and he felt the same pain. He's like, man, this crypto thing sucks. My project's not getting any traction, etc. And it's amazing to see that you guys are succeeding. That you hit a narrative now and a use case. It's like a solid use case. And like, yeah, you think, okay, well, I could go do it myself, but the amount of effort and work to actually do it, let alone the fact that if everybody tried to do it themselves, where's the trust and the safety for everybody, right? The fact that you guys are going to have audited contracts, official partnerships, everything has been like, has been put under scrutiny, and we can all say for sure, yeah, Migrate Fund is safe, right? Not a scam, totally works, legit, everything's audited, big people and partnerships have happened that trust them. Like that's the only way to do it. Otherwise, every migration everybody's gonna be like, wonder, is it a scam? Is it, I have to do all this work? Like, it just makes so much more sense. And yeah, it should be something that's bullish, right? It should not be a bearish thing that you want to move your coin so that it can succeed better, right? Like that. And I know that that's all people be like, oh, if you're going to migrate, that might be bearish. It might kill your coin. And that's one of the reasons why we haven't done it. It's because we don't want to kill the coin. We love the community. I don't give a crap about where the coin lives, but I care about the community, and I don't want to hurt the community. But I want to do what's best for the token, because also what's best for the token and for my team is what's best for the community. It should be a win-win. And I honestly think that it will be. I think the next month is just going to be awesome. And I look forward to a lot more of these spaces. I would love to get you guys onto an 89 space. I'm going to start pulling on some of the other projects that are going to be migrating and chatting with them on spaces. We're going to be knocking the next 3 weeks is going to be all like knocking the pots and pans, having chats, and just getting everybody hyped up for the fact that like we're going to start winning so much harder.
You're going to be so tired of winning.
So tired of winning.
You're going to be so tired of winning.
Yeah, we got it.
You want something that'll make coin go up. Migrations will make coin go up.
Yeah, that's what it seems to be so far. So excited for the future. We've got a lot of teams on board, still got a little ways to go. But until then, everyone who joins the space, really appreciate it. Make sure you do follow Pars and Quan and our AI project Agent Hustle, so you can stay up to date with everything in the AI world as we begin to reemerge from the trenches and to be center stage in crypto again. I do hear a lot of people calling for AI meta part 2, but really we never left. So it's not part 2. It's just
we're still here.
It's just a continuation. Until then, everyone, please have a fun and safe Tuesday. We'll be back here on a show on Thursday with one of the founders or CMO from Time.Funds. We'll dive into another Solana project. Until then, everyone have a good time, and we'll see you guys soon.
Later, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Later. Take care.